So here's what I wanted to talk about first up, because I put a tweet out and I asked a very important question, very important, right? I said I am starting to come around to the idea that Fallout 76 is a bigger scam than No Man's Sky. Now, I got a lot of interaction on this tweet, obviously, to a lot of people. The No Man's Sky thing is still really raw. The Fallout 76 thing is kicking them in the nads as we speak because they paid for the game. But also as well, both games have like real crazy fan bases. Real crazy fan bases that believe the games are objectively good for reasons I'll never understand. Like, if you think about, and they all say the same thing, oh, there's content coming, or oh, there's new content in the game now, and it's really, really good. It's just bizarre to me. But, like, remember No Man's Sky when it first came out? I mean, it was objectively bad. It was broken on launch. There are still features that were promised or even shown in trailers during the game development cycle and the promotional cycle at E3, which is still not in the game today. For me, it remains like you've got okay, on a tangent, you've got Star Citizen, which is kind of a fucking rule unto itself. Star Citizen is the gaming equivalent of Bitcoin. It's a bunch of bullshit, and people just keep throwing money at it because they think they're going to get this incredible investment, this incredible return somewhere down the road. But no, it's not. It's never coming. It's never happening. It's bullshit. Okay, and that's fine. It's never going to live up to the promise. Okay, so Star Citizen's kind of over here by itself, right? But then No Man's Sky for me was the first real time I'd seen a big production company. They always go, oh, they're a small indie studio owned by Sony, right? Owned by Sony. It's kind of like saying, oh, you know, Nirvana, they're just a indie band. You're on Geffen Records, all right? Like, you know, you're not on Sub Pop anymore. You know, you don't get to hide behind the idea you're an indie band. You're not on a fucking indie label. You're mainstream. So, and it was a $60 game with no content in it. They all talked about this big fucking twist ending, which was literally the game just starts over again. If you make it to the center of the universe, it just restarts and goes, oh, and then people were like, oh, but wait, if you do it 7 times, you get a special. It's like, there is no content in this game. There is no content in this game. Hello Games wasn't owned by Sony? I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? I don't know, Chief. The game was distributed by Sony, right? Yeah, Sony was the publisher. So, I mean, you think there's no money changing hands on that deal?
You're not even a real journalism.
You know, I like pedantry as much as the next person, but, you know, it was promoted by Sony, distributed by Sony. Sony put money into the studio to help get the project over the line and definitely had creative influence over it to make sure that it wasn't delayed. So anyway, there was like no content in that game. There was just no content in that game at launch, and the excuses they were making for it was they tried to create a metagame around it where it's like, oh, if you go to the center of the universe and you do all this, and it was just bullshit, right? And then they've added stuff. Like, I've seen some of the updates. It looks okay, you know? Like, it looks more like a game now than when it did at launch, but it still looks very lackluster and definitely not in line with what was promised or, you know, whatever else. But Fallout 76, whew, fuck me. I don't know, guys. Hey, cheers, Warhead, man. 50 fucking months. OG in the chat. Mad respect. It's like the game, first of all, Fallout 76, It is broken beyond belief. I am gonna fucking show you that. But then on top of that, like, there are more of Todd Howard's lies, dude. Like, there's definite provable lies around this. I went to the Metacritic website. I was like looking at it ahead of this. Come on, you can do it. Give me the Metacritic. Let's try it again. There we go. Right window. Okay. Ignore that. You're deaf. So I went to the Metacritic website, and it's like, I can't even believe this game got 54, right? I can't even believe this game got 54 from reviewers. And that is partially because of stuff like PC Gamer gave this game 60 out of 100, which, listen, I mean, scores are completely arbitrary and nonsensical anyway in game reviews. They are really, really stupid. And I've always hated them being used, even though I think when I was a games reviewer, I used them in the past. But just to give you an idea of how stupid games review scores are, when I was a games reviewer, and this happened at a few publications, depending on where the game came from and the context of, you know, who the publisher was, the scores were completely tampered with. I would write my review, I think this game is shit, signed Richard Lewis, aged, 27 and a half or whatever, and, put my 42 out of 100 at the end. I'd give it over to the editor, and the editor would go, oh, we can't give them a 40. That'll fuck up their Metacritic score. It looks really bad and disrespectful. I'm just going to add 20 on, all right? I won't change any of the words, but we've got to give it at least 60. And you're like, well, why? Oh, we need to get the games sent to us. And we need to have a good relationship with this. And it's like, that's my score. But yeah, they used to, this happened to me at a few places. And when you look at how the scores work, a meta score from critics compared to a user score is never in line. Never in line. It's never in line because a lot of these publications have they've never scored a game worse than a 5. You're like, how's that possible? How do you play hundreds and hundreds of games and yet you have never scored a game below a 5, below 50%? It just never happens. Never happens. They've never done it. You go to IGN, notoriously suspect publication, and you look at and you're going, okay, I played that game. That game is a very fucking shit game. That game is really bad, broken, had to be patched a bunch. It's still got no content, whatever. 7. 7 out of... It's like the rating out of 10 starts at 6. It's super rare an IGN goes lower than that. And it's just like, listen, that's crazy. That is not what, your own scores become meaningless if you don't even have a sense of scale within the fucking, why even bother? Like, why have 0 to 100 if you are never going to use 50% of that? Because in your mind, arbitrarily, all games have some sort of merit. Like, just ditch the scoring system. Just get rid of it. It's fucking stupid. So very rarely will these things sync up. Now, I watched the day Fallout 76 was released because I toyed with the idea of buying it, but I just knew I'd seen all the beta streams. I'd seen all the bugs that was in the game. I thought I cannot in good conscience, even though I could buy it, stream it, have some fun with it, probably make the $60 back. And it's now obviously like being sold at 50% because the game's terrible and people aren't buying it. But I thought, no, because then you're part of the problem. If you pay for a substandard product, they're going to keep giving you a substandard product. And I think this year, part of a bigger conversation, 2018 is the year where I think people... Right, here's 2 things are happening. Consumers have had enough of shitty games and pre-orders and AAA, fucking... DLC staggered. Oh, you pay $120 for the Ultimate Edition, but then $150 and you get the Super Ultimate Edition. Well, the Ultimate Edition isn't the Ultimate Edition if there's a fucking Super Ultimate Edition. Is it? And then you got a Supreme Edition for $200, and sometimes The best editions don't even have the game in. It's just a bunch of fucking shitty, cheap anime figures. It's like, guys, like, you know, people have had enough of you gouging them this way. Games never work on day one, right? So what's the point? Pre-order. The advantage is it's pre-ordered, so they typically give it you ahead of other players. You get it, it's broken. It's buggy mess. You may as well not. So people have had enough of that. People have had enough of people have had enough of the loot boxes stuff. The government's coming in across the world to regulate the shit out of that. Hope you enjoyed all of those unregulated microtransactions, game industry, because it's over now. It's done now. You never, you know, the government's here now. It's gambling now. You fucked up. You got too fucking greedy and you fucked up. It's over. Boom. Right?
That's right.
Thank you very much, Pike. Appreciate it, man. 19 months. So it's done. So then that's happening. And now, let me also tell you, people are holding back, not buying these games just because they are slapping a franchise tag on it. Let's go over the evidence for that statement. Battlefield 5, ignoring all of the nonsense, because I don't know if I'll say things that will upset people, because honestly, I kind of see it both ways. You know, I just think, like, listen, if you're calling it Genderfield 5, you're probably an incel. And if you look to video games to be bastions of historical accuracy, maybe it's not the medium for you. I would say, you know, do you cry when you watch a movie and it says based on true events and it's complete bullshit? Braveheart. I don't remember anyone, just to get back to the 90s, which is obviously now where I permanently live, like some old deranged cunt, right? You know, I don't remember anyone crying about Braveheart being, like, grotesquely historically inaccurate. It was just a baller fucking movie. Freedom! He's getting things jabbed up his arsehole. We all fucking loved it, right? Freedom! Oh, God, I feel so bad. William Wallace was a hero. Definitely wasn't. Was an absolute fucking piece of shit and was not the guy in the movie. But, you know, based on true events. Did you get upset? Did you get upset? Of course you didn't get upset. No one got upset. Do you know why? It's you can't have it both ways. You can't say, I don't want politics in my games. Don't force politics down my throat. But make it historically accurate or you're disrespecting the memories of the people who fought. Is it escapism or is it art? Right? And if it's art, there's artistic license. And if it's escapism, it doesn't matter. Right? But I will also say this. If your game purports to have historical realism and then you just eschew loads of it, you can't have it both ways either as a games developer. But for me, I like I said with the Total Rome thing with the female generals, like, just give it a rest. It's a sandbox game. Who gives a fuck? You know, Rome, you know, when you have, like, when you're Carthage and you conquer Rome and take over the whole world, that didn't happen, but you don't cry about that. So it's just dumb. It's a dumb argument, all right? It's really silly. It's a silly thing to tunnel in on. But anyway, for whatever reason, whether it's to do with that or just because the game's kind of played out, right? Or, you know, Battlefield 5, their sales were down something like 40% on the previous Battlefield, which was down something like 60% on the Battlefield before that. People are tired of the games. Black Ops 4 apparently didn't sell as well as they had projected for on PC. I think I read that somewhere, but I could be wrong. And the sales on Fallout 76, absolute disastrous. It's really, really bad, you know? This game's been out, like, on official release for, like, 2 weeks, and it's like, boom, it's 50% off. It's 50% off. Right? It's just dead. It's just gone. Boom. It's like, it's just over. So people are getting tired of it. People are getting tired. And a lot of people are going, oh, go woke, go broke. Like, listen, I know there's a hardcore subsection of gamers who are just fucking tired of that shit, and I understand it. I can empathize a little bit, right? But it's got nothing to do with that. What it is you even take the engine from previous games, you give it a little bit of spit and polish, and you put out the same shit again. It's just got different names on the guns. You know, objectively, why do I need to buy 3 FPS games in a franchise that all do pretty much the same thing every year? Why do I need to spend my money on that? I don't. People are realizing it as these games are being released in frequency. People are just like, I'll just save my money for something better. Honestly, I'll just save my money for the next, something. Ubisoft open sandbox games, whether it's Far Cry or Just Cause or Assassin's Creed, they're all pretty much the same fucking thing. You don't see the level of attention to detail that goes into a Red Dead Redemption 2 in your average Ubisoft sandbox. Go here, collect 60 leaves and unlock a flamethrower. They're just all the same. They're all the same, right? So people are becoming more discerning in their purchases. They've had enough. And then when you start factoring in microtransactions in games that I've already bought, like, what is this? Like, I bought the Ultimate Edition of this game, but the Ultimate Edition is still 5 editions down from the best edition. As a result of buying the Ultimate Edition, I get some free in-game cosmetics, but I am still expected to put my credit card details into my client so I can buy items that I need at various points in the game if I want to speed up the gameplay. I think Shadows of Mordor by Warner Brothers was probably the most egregious example of that, actually. That the game became so tedious and so much of it. I never finished it. I got like 40 hours in. I think I got to the final point where you've got to do all these sieges in a row, and I'm like, I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. I've had fun, giving my orc speech impediments by fucking messing with their mind, but I'm out now.
You're not even a real journalism.
Right?
That's right.
So people are having enough, and I think 2018, it's been a bad year for the games industry. They'll keep banging on about how we're all racists and sexists and assholes, and I wish the incels would shut the fuck up so we could, not get tarred with that brush for a year. Like, guys, if you're worried about fucking, oh, look, there's a disabled woman on the cover of Battlefield, if that's the kind of thing that keeps you up at night, could you not tell anyone? Could for a year, can we try an experiment where if that's the kind of thing that bothers you, can you shut the fuck up about it and just see if the games industry gets renewed respect, and we start getting treated like we're not all weird incel cunts? Because I see a correlation, but what do I know, right? What the fuck do I know? So anyway, people have had enough, and this is insane. Can I read some of these reviews? Will the site break or go super loud again? Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at some of these. Zero. All right. Why do we put up with this? Have some smarts, Pete. Oh, I like this guy. He's one of the... Wake up, sheeple. Wake up, sheeple. Why do we put up with this, sheeple? Have some smarts. Don't let big publishers fool you into pre-orders. For them to be able to profit off rubbish like this is a direct insult upon your intelligence, says the guy who bought the game. We live in an age of information. Use it. He's right. Wake up, sheeple. After 20 hours of playing the game, I'm requesting a refund as the game is lacking in content and care from the creators. It shouldn't have ever costed... Alright, maybe he's foreign. $60 with such a terrible engine where the game is degrading and becoming unplayable. The graphics haven't upgraded since Fallout 4. Also, they lock the game at 30 FPS. I fucking hate that. Do not port your game to PC if you're going to lock frame rates. Because, I could talk about the things that I've seen for this Fallout video. The way that, the fucking Pip-Boy, which, it's just also badly designed. It is unlocked FPS. Okay, good. Glad you're here, Slinky Malinky. But yeah, some developers do that. Don't do that. Don't port your game if you're going to cap frame rates. Fuck you if you do that. Right, anyway, everything looks like plastic and people lag spike around the goddamn map and are losing their walking animations mid-fight. I feel I bought a beta of a game for $60, and it's such a shame that a AAA game is this awful and unplayable. How did Bethesda think it was even okay to sell this game with how many problems it has? Right, now, here's another thing as well. This is something that the industry, I think it is going to change. I think I can see people getting upset with it. This idea of buying a game, like games as service, I think is the term they use. You buy a game, it's not finished. They'll add content to it and they'll continually fix it. Kind of like, it's almost like every AAA studio releases their game in early access now. That's effectively what you're getting. You are like, I've played some amazing early access games. The best one, hands down, RimWorld. Thank you very much, Fate the Black 944. Sorry, by the way, to all the subs whose names I haven't read, but you did get the dude tipping the hat, so you know it's all good, right? The best one I think I ever played was RimWorld. I still have the exe file of the original game because it wasn't on Steam, right? Like you had to get this through the website, bought it, Ludian Studios, which is Tynan Sylvester's company. And even in its early format, there was a lot of great content in it. You could see how good this game was going to be. And then every patch that came out, new content, new ideas, fixes, and it just went like that. And it's finally come out, a full version of the game. It's still being sold, I think, for like $30. That game is like, I've probably already had like about 1,000 hours of content out of it from early access, and all of it was good. There wasn't a time where I thought, yeah, I wish I hadn't bought this, actually. I wish I'd waited. That's early access done right. What this isn't even billed as early access. Game comes out, it's broken, it's shit, there's no content in it, and the only excuse that it is good and playable is, oh, it's fun with friends. Yo, a fucking colonoscopy is fucking fun if your friends are watching. You know what I mean? Like, everything's fun with friends. It's the friends that make it fun. It's not the fucking game. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? It's just such a pathetic Bethesda apologist stance. And I've got to say that as well. I don't know if Bethesda, like, if Todd Howard, this has to be the only explanation for it, right? Did Todd Howard, right, as he was on the come up and they made, all these great games, Morrowind,
You're not even journalism.
Thanks, Jace. Good to see you back, buddy. 18 months, man. Time flies. Right, when they were on the come up and they were making all these great games, I think Todd Howard went out and hacked every journalist's PC, and he got all their nudes and all their furry porn that they're into, where they've shopped their heads on it, and all their weird peccadillos. And just like the NSA, he just hoarded it all. And now, when a Bethesda game gets released, right, even the journalists are saying, well, it's a Bethesda game, so you expect bugs. No, I don't actually. I expect there to be less bugs over time because you're using the same engine. We'll come to that. We'll come to that lie about how it's a new engine for Fallout 76. But it's just, I don't understand it. It is not acceptable. It's not acceptable to release a broken game and then say, thanks because all these dumb motherfuckers pre-ordered it. We've got the money to actually just fix it moving forward. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous how unacceptable it is. And keep in mind, and I made this point in, I can't remember. I think I did a video. It was in the Activision Blizzard, another piece of shit company. It was in the Activision Blizzard video I did about Diablo Immortal, right?
That's right.
I talked about how certain companies just get away with this sort of stuff. Bethesda being very much one of them. Activision Blizzard get a pass for a lot of egregious stuff they do. But EA can't. Nah, dude. EA's like, hey, everybody, we remade Dungeon Master. Sorry, Dungeon Keeper. I was watching Dungeons and Dragons the other day. We remade Dungeon Keeper. It's mobile, pay-to-win game. I'm sure you're going to love it. Like, boo! You fucking suck. You fucking suck, EA. Fuck you. It's like news posts like EA, worst company in America. It's like, you are aware that Comcast is a company in America. Boo! EA! You are aware, actually, that Papa John's threatened to blackmail their own employees if they voted for Obama. Boo! I said EA! Boo! And they're like, fuck, God. We really fucked up with Dungeon Keeper Mobile. What other intellectual property do we have that the kids like? You know what? Command and Conquer might be the one. Yeah, that was little dudes running around. You could play that in a mobile game. Here it is, everyone. Command and Conquer's back. Boo! You know, that was, EA can't do anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, EA is a piece of shit company too, right? Like, you know, I'm not defending EA. I'm just saying it's weird, isn't it, that Bethesda go, hey, everyone, want to play this broken piece of shit with no content in it? Yeah, well, Todd Howard and his wacky lies. Love that Todd Howard, though. Skyrim was the shit. Faux radar. Like, get me out. Get me out. Like, this can't be real. This isn't normal behavior. This is like... fucking... Sorry, Fuzzroad. I can't fucking remember. Fuck Skyrim as well, by the way. The most overrated game ever made. They keep remastering it. Look, I hate to break it to you guys, right? But if you're telling me a story through not emergent gameplay, but a book or a long NPC dialogue or a terminal, you know, maybe your writing's not that good. And don't even get me started on, come on, the infinite quests in Skyrim. They just feel infinite because they're all the fucking same. Couple of decent dragon fights. Fuck that game. Right, anyway. So, people defending Bethesda just blows my mind. Let's talk about the bugs. All right? Because I went out and I was like looking into the bugs, right? And I found this thread. Let me get him. Where was it? Somebody on Reddit compiled a list of every known bug in Fallout 76 on launch. Right? Whoop! Thank you very much. It's SOCOM.
Buy the fucking game.
You're not even a real journalism. That's right.
I just want to say as well, though, by the way, this stream is sponsored by Fallout 70. No, it's not. Right. Okay, let's just take a look at this. Okay, you tell me if this looks... Keep in mind, this has been updated, and all of the bugs that were in the game have now been removed off this list. Right? Tell me if this looks like a game that had any level of testing or care put into it. Just look at how long this list of bugs is. Just look at this fucking list. And this is the updated list with bugs taken out of the game. They've done 2 patches since this list was released.
That's right.
2 patches. And some of these, look, if textures fail to render, looking through the invisible area will show a trippy black screen with cascading effects. That is like one of the most basic graphical errors. Like, how's no one picked that up? What, does no one like do stress testing in the Bethesda studio? How? How is that a thing? Player models may appear invisible. Oh, I don't know. That might be a slight problem in a game with PvP in it. Don't you think? Don't you think that could be a problem? Player models may... Not And not fucking monster models, player models. It's insane. How does that, like, surely someone has to just say, like, if this was an assembly line, right, and cars are going out, and it's like, the windscreen wiper doesn't work, but, you know, we'll just fucking, people can just, you know, put a rubber band on it when they get the car, and that'll fix it. You just wouldn't do it. There's no industry where this level of care or quality control would ever be allowed. You would do a fucking product recall in any other industry. In the games industry, there you are. Fucking have this shit. The models are invisible. Yeah, we'll patch it in 2 weeks. Whatever. They've already paid. Fuck them. It's wild. Now, here's the thing as well. Todd Howard, right, talked a lot about... did you see the... I want to say, was it E3? Not E3. Yeah, was it? No. What was the big games thing that he said? Was it E3? I can't even remember. I want to say it wasn't E3. E3's at the start of the year. So what was the thing that they just had? Was it E3? I thought it was a PAX. I don't know. I can't keep up. There's so much fucking games bullshit that goes on. I can't remember it. So it was this E3. Yeah, you're right. June. So the Todd Howard took exception to people saying that Fallout 76 was using the engine they'd used in Fallout 4, right? Fallout 76 isn't using an old engine. It boasts an array of technical improvements. Speaking following his appearance at Game Lab, Bethesda director Todd Howard addressed criticisms of Bethesda's game engine. The studio has often faced criticism, however minor. Why would it be minor? That engine is probably about as old as I am, by the fucking way. Like,
you're not even a real That's right.
Thanks for the sub there, Swamp. Sorry, I'm on this screen, so I forgot to put the sub stuff popping up, right? So the engine is a fucking relic of days gone by, and they keep like updating it and tweaking it. At what point will you take some of the hundreds of millions of dollars you made and just develop a new fucking engine? Nobody likes to have to do it. Engine development is a pain in the balls, but you gotta think about, you know, the short-term investment. Thanks, ASW Streams, appreciate it. You got to think about the short-term pain for long-term gain. You know, Valve didn't rest on their laurels. They made the Source engine. Revolutionary games made on the Source engine. And then, fuck it, Orange Box. They changed, they updated it. It's got different physics in it, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure when VR comes out, they'll develop some fucking insane iteration of the engine for that. On and on and on and on it goes. You can't keep... Like, listen, Fallout 4, when that came out, looked fucking dated. It looked like trash, honestly. There were some nice parts, but you can see the engine's limitations, no matter how many times they put a new lick of paint on it. And there were bugs in Fallout 4 that I remember from other Bethesda games that I played, that I remembered from the likes of Skyrim. You know, like the bug where they would just go inside their head and it would just be the floating eyes. Remember the floating eye bug? Where it would just be like the fucking skull and the eyes? Well, in like a cutscene when they were talking to you. That used to happen in fucking Skyrim. That used to happen in Skyrim. That used to happen to me in fucking Fallout 4. That's not a coincidence. The games are years apart. Same bug. Wonder why that is. So anyway, he came out and he said, you know, he did this talk where he was telling people lies. Telling lies. And he said, we wanted every aspect of Fallout 76 to be better. Keep in mind, the next two games they've got in development, the new Elder Scrolls game and Starfield, they're saying they're going to use this engine for it. Lord preserve us. We wanted every aspect to be better, from the graphics to how the controls work, the gunplay, enemy AI, overlapping quests. In Fallout 4, we tried so many new things and redid so many things we had before. We took our lessons in how you strike that balance going into Fallout 76. We improved the hit detection in Fallout 76. It feels much better, but you won't notice unless you go back to Fallout 4 and compare those two games. There are a lot of things we redid for Fallout 76 that I don't know if people will notice. How convenient that no one's going to notice them, Todd. How fucking convenient that we won't notice. You know? And given that, one of the big criticisms I've seen from Fallout 76 is hitbox detection. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what you're selling me, mate. But anyway, here's how I know they definitely didn't redo shit they needed to redo. Maybe they did fix hitbox detection. Maybe there's a ton of stuff from the... But I play Fallout 4. Again, I gave up at about 80 hours. I think I got through Far Harbor, and then I was like, you know what? The writing in this game's terrible. I struggled to keep playing the game after the boy in the fridge. I couldn't do it. I know there's been videos made about that quest, but that quest is stupefyingly bad. It is stupefyingly bad that anybody would write that, make that, put that in a game, and not one person in the room goes, that is shit, mate. Right? So for those who haven't played it, right, the boy in the fridge quest is literally, right, a quest where you are walking down a road, you hear a little kid's voice, help, 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 and it's coming from a refrigerator, as Americans like to call them. And you look over at it, and he's like, yeah, I'm trapped in here, what's going on? And you open up the refrigerator, and inside, it's a child, but the child is a ghoul. Ooh, a ghoul. Right? And what I'm supposed to believe is that to escape from the nuclear blast, he climbed into the fridge, or he got caught in the fridge just as the nuclear bombs were falling down, and he got ghoulified, and he's been in there for... This is 200 years later. I mean, the Fallout games that come later, Fallout 3, even New Vegas to a certain degree, but not as much by any stretch. It's like they don't understand what 200 years in the passage of time would look like. Think about what we were doing 200 years ago. Why would we still be like living in bones and dog shit 200 years? It boils my piss every time I go to a building and people are just living in absolute squalor with skeletons everywhere. Like, no one thought to clean up in 200 years, right? Fuck that. But anyway, so the fucking kid is like, he's been trapped in a fridge for 200 years with no food, no water, which, by the way, understand that it's wrong because ghouls need to drink, as proven by Fallout 1. Where did they pull that from? It's not even canon. Forget that, though. Forget that, right? But he was a boy, and then he got ghoulified while he was in there. Well, he must have thought, fucking hell, I should eat something. I should drink something. He's not been fazed by that at all. Then, he's been in isolation for 200 years. He's been in isolation for 200 years, and he's not, as a scared kid, and he's not gone insane. Mate, solitary confinement for 3 months will do a fucker's boxing. Ask prisoners who are in solitary long term. It fucking breaks you. It fucking breaks you, mate. And he's just done 200 years of solitary confinement in a claustrophobic space with no natural light for 200. He's done it standing on his head. Who's this cunt? Charles Bronson. It's mental. It's fucking mental. Anyway, the kid gets out.
That was totally unnecessary.
Don't question it, just buy it again.
Right? The kid gets out and goes, oh, fucking hell. I don't even know how long I've been in there. Definitely feels a long time. 200 years, you say. Oh, bloody hell. I really want to find my mum and dad. And you've got choices out of your 4 dialogue choices you're allowed to have, which doesn't even make sense because one of those options is sarcasm, and it's never 50% of the time it's sarcasm, and the other 50% is just you just being hostile or an arsehole for some reason. So you tell the kid, oh, sure, I'll try and help you find your parents, right? And then this guy comes up round the corner like, nice kid you got there, like. Fucking hell, Pizzagate was real. Nice kids you got there. And who's this guy? Like, is there an alarm? Like, do you have like a fucking detection device? Someone has just freed a child from a refrigerator. Quick, we must go. And this guy offers to buy the kid off you. He offers to buy the kid. And so now you got a choice. Again, all these big moral choices. Do I sell the kid into slavery? Do I refuse? Do I kill the guy? Like, why is any of that happening? The quest is already terrible. This is like icing made out of dog shit on a cake made out of cow shit with a fucking horse shit center. It's unbelievable. So you'd kill him or whatever, and then the kid goes, oh, gee willikers, mister. Thanks for doing that. Now I gotta find my parents, which must be dead. You walk, I swear to God, it's about 400 meters down the road. It's 400 meters, mate. It's fucking 400 meters, innit? And you walk down the road, and there's just a house, and there's 2 ghouls in it. And they're only his parents. So they got ghoulified. Don't know how that happened. Both of them, both of them got ghoulified. But here's the thing. It's not even the coincidence of all members of the family getting ghoulified. Maybe there's a type of gene that makes you predisposed to being ghoulified. I suppose that would make sense. Not that the writers would ever put anything like that in the game. That requires a bit of forethought. It's the fact that they have been alive for 200 years, 400 meters away from the child they fucking claim to love so fucking dearly. You never went for a walk. You never went 400 fucking meters down the road in 200 years. And then you return him, and they're, oh God, like, yo, I think you've been enjoying 200 years without having to listen to this cunt. I think you cunts put him in the fridge so you can have some peace and quiet. That quest from start to finish is wrapped up in like 4 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. That's with all the dialogue options explored. It's garbage. It's objective garbage. And I remember, right, I did that quest and I thought, this is shit, innit? And it just really hit me. I think I turned the game off. I like went and I sat and I thought, oh, fucking hell, I don't know about this. And then I went back and I played it. And by the time I got to Far Harbor, which Far Harbor, by the way, is just a very watered down version of the story that's told in New Vegas with just a few little bits changed, right? Think about it. I won't get into that. I was like, all right. And then it was like, I can't remember what I did next. Oh, I think it was chasing the Robot Master or whatever the fuck in the Wastelands. And I thought, nah, I'm done. 80 hours. Fucking, I'm out. I've had enough. So anyway, right. So forget that. Forget Fallout 4. Here's how I know Bethesda didn't take any care over this engine. This supposed engine update they did. Because there's a bug in Fallout 76 you might have heard of. It's the power armor bug, right? I think Angry Joe called this the Chupacabra monster bug, which made me laugh because I thought of Tariq Nasheed doing a fucking review of Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is a vehicle of white supremacy. Something like that, right? But yeah, Wendigo, man. That's it. Yeah, Wendigo, man. Right? Just look at this shit. Look at this bug. You put on power armor, and the power armor glitches, so it just shows you as fucking a naked, hunched up man with like Elon. Look at this. Right? But here's the thing about this bug. When I saw this bug, I wasn't laughing. And I wasn't laughing because I laughed 3 fucking years ago when I saw this bug in fucking Fallout 4. Right? So if you don't believe me, here we go. Preston Garvey is fucking Wendigo, man. It's the same bug. It's the same fucking bug. So, how was... This is 2015. So how did nobody know to fix this, which was complained about on fucking mass at the time? I think a mod you could get would correct this or something. We'd probably just have to pay for it because of Bethesda's paid mod store that they did. But how does this escape your attention? Yeah, we got to make a bunch of improvements to the engine before we put out Fallout 76 because people are really starting to call us out on our bullshit. Oh, well, you remember that bug that everyone was complaining about? The one that a mod fixed, you know, where everyone walked, they turn into fucking Wendigo, man. And they end up having big arms and stuff. Should we fix that? Nah, let's break hitbox detection, actually. Let's do that instead. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Right, and then, just to underline how much bullshit that fucking, we worked incredibly hard on the engine. There's code in this game that is directly copy-pasted from Skyrim. Skyrim! Not even Fallout 4. Skyrim. Yes, Skyrim, my children. Right? Here it is. Fallout 76 engine code seems to have been directly copied from Skyrim and Fallout 4. Not now. And you can see here, this was noticed on Twitter. Somebody tweeted out, right, that if you go into the code and you look at strings, there's strings all about dragon. Dragon this, dragon this, dragon this. Don't say, but there's a Scorch Beast in the game. Call it a fucking Scorch Beast then. But it was the exact same animations, the exact same behaviors, and they just copy-pasted it. Why is there a Scorch Beast in Fallout, by the way? That's not hashtag not my Fallout, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag not my Fallout. Dragons in Fallout. Come on, grow up. Right? And they just copy and pasted it. They couldn't even be bothered to come up conceptually with something that might be, you know, like special kind of death claw, you know, whatever. Call back to an earlier game. Couldn't do it. Just put a dragon in, we'll call it a Scorch Beast. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Also, as well, if I remember rightly, let me just check this. Let me just find it. Anyway, there was another piece with the code where basically what it does is it checks for the disc and then just runs the game anyway. That's right. Whether the disc's in or not. So if you've got like an online version, it checks. If you've got the disc version, it checks, but it just runs the game. It was just completely broken. It wasn't even fit for purpose.
You're not even a real journalist. That's right.
Oh, sorry, yeah, and it checks for Fallout 4. My bad. Sorry, I must stress that. It says Fallout 4 disc. So they're copy-pasting code from Skyrim, Fallout 4, but apparently, again, I'm supposed to believe that they completely overhauled and worked on this new engine. So that's just the game. The game is garbage. The game is absolute hot garbage. It's just beyond unacceptable how little care has been put into this. And again, I just see, like, in that reply to the tweet, and I won't call them out because, you know, that's not my style. You know, I asked for an opinion, so it was solicited. It wasn't like these people tweeted me out of the blue. But I got, I got like a bunch of people saying, well, you know, there's content coming to the game, and well, you know, it's not that bad, and well, look, I don't mind playing bugs, and look, I wasn't expecting Fallout 4, so it's all okay. It's like, oh, fine. If you're having a good time, it's your money, whatever. But here was the next thing that came up, and it was well, I'm sure you've all seen about this now, the problem with the bag. The fucking bag issue. And it just compounded everything. Like, the game's already a fucking sack of shit. The game is already provably copy-pasting bits from older games when you're harping on at E3 about how it's had an overhaul, it's a new engine, you know, all this stuff. So this happened.
You're not even a real journalism.
Boom. Thank you for the sub there, the Angry Rock. Thank you, Twitch Prime. Appreciate it. Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition.
You're not even a real journalist.
Baited and switched a canvas bag, falsely advertised. So for those of you, you might even have seen me tweet out about this. This was the Power Armor Edition of Fallout. Is this the one that didn't have the game in? I can't even keep up. But basically in this edition, you got like a little fucking commemorative like board game thing. You got like a box. You got like a canvas bag, which had like the name of the fucking vault on it, obviously 76. And, you know, you got a Power Armor helmet. And it was $200, this was. $200. And you can see there, a canvas Westtech duffel bag is what they advertised. Now, when people got it...
You're not even a real journalism.
Thanks, we're having a sub train. Thanks, Hagrold and Thom Sato. What people got instead was a much cheaper nylon bag that looked little like what they advertised, but I mean, it wasn't even the same materials. So somebody wrote in and complained, and basically they said, hang on, I'll see if can I zoom in on that? Maybe not. Hang on, I might just get the picture for you so I can zoom in, make it a little bit bigger and easier to read on the stream. Right, yeah, here we go. Right, this is the email. So somebody did what I would do. Like, I paid $200. Like, it might not seem a big deal to you, but, you know, you did have I did get told I was getting a canvas bag. Instead, I got something I can't even leave, you know, like, it just looks shitty. It's not what I paid for. So, you know, what do I get? Because you fucked me over. So this person, you know, emailed them saying, you know, the bag included was nylon. They didn't reply. So they said, can I get a response? Thanks. And they said in their original email, what are you going to do about this? And then this was the Bethesda support help desk said, we are sorry you aren't happy with the bag. The bag shown in the media was a prototype and was too expensive to make. Right, let's yeah, hi Ozix, by the way. Yeah, I see you. Right. Now listen. First of all, if it's a prototype, don't advertise it. I mean, that's pretty much fucking obvious to everybody, right? When has Canvas been like, did I miss a fucking meeting? Like was I like asleep, wrecked on pills, and then like I woke up one day, oh well, there's been an incredible Canvas, incredible canvas shortage, and there's no way we could possibly make these. It's canvas, like it's the material they use in the military. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's not that expensive. What the fuck are we talking about? Why is canvas too expensive? $200? How are you not making a profit, by the way? Like, what, the helmet costs, like, are you breaking even on this? No fucking way. There's no fucking way. Right? Plus, let's also just go out on a fucking limb here and say, ooh, corporations in America, I wonder where them bags are getting fucking stitched up. It ain't on US soil. Let's put it that way. So even if canvas was like super expensive, the labor that goes into them is probably being done by itty-bitty 8-year-old hands that are gnarled like my fucking granddad's was when he checked out, because they work in a fucking sweatshop somewhere in Asia. So don't tell me it's too expensive, because you're an American corporation. You just cut corners even if it costs human life.
Oi. That was totally unnecessary. Totally.
It was canvas laced with decaying plutonium umong. Just buy the back. Buy it.
So they said it's a prototype. It's too expensive. But then I just can't even believe the bold-faced nature of this reply. We aren't planning on doing anything about it. We are not planning on doing anything about it. That is like, that guy may as well have literally just typed, lol, get owned, fuck you. Like, what you mean you're not planning on doing anything about it? Like nothing? Like nothing at all?
You're not even a real journalism.
Like nothing at all. Like nothing. Not even a, like just nothing. Okay, so that Bethesda came out after that happened, and they put a tweet out basically saying, that person was like outsourced, okay, and doesn't represent who like how we usually handle these issues. So they also then said that the information was incorrect. It wasn't too expensive to make, but actually, and this was the official line from Bethesda, it's there's been a canvas shortage, and that's why we had to go to nylon. The material was unavailable, so we had to switch to nylon. Where were you during the great canvas shortage of 2018, ladies and gentlemen? Do you remember? Remember, it was on all the news, wasn't it? Due to a fucking outbreak of caterpillars, canvas is just, it's all gone. They ate it all. It's like, you can't even keep your fucking story straight. And both stories are lies. So it's irrelevant, really, in the grand scheme of things. A shortage of canvas. Guys, like, please. So anyway, then what happened? If that's not insulting enough, once this went public, because if the first customer support person had just shown a little bit of fucking nous about them and dealt with it properly in the first instance, this would never have blown up on social media. So other people got pissed off. There was even talk of a class action lawsuit maybe coming. I want to say, who's that lawyer? Is it Leonard French? I think he did a video saying, oh yeah, you could probably band together, and there might be a case to answer here because it is clear false advertising. I also want to add, under the British advertising standards guidelines, and very much so under the Australian advertising standard guidelines, this would unequivocally be a violation. So I can't speak for American advertising law because I don't know enough about it. So people started talking about, oh, well, let's do a fucking class action maybe. Then Bethesda were like, wait a minute. We better do something. We better come out and do something about it. So they then went, well, what we'll do is we'll give you $5. Well, no, actually, I'm being too generous because it's not $5, right? It was their in-game currency for Fallout 76, 500 atoms. Atoms, they're called. So I'll I can't believe this is real. I'll show you. Their in-game currency, because there's microtransactions in Fallout 76. It's about the only content they actually bothered to put in the fucking game was microtransactions. Like, oh, by the way, I'll show you some of these microtransactions in a minute. Like, holy fucking shit. So 500 atoms is the equivalent of $5. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? 500 atoms, $5. It's $5. And it's not even, it's $5 they print. And you can only spend it in their shop. Like, what is that? How's that compensation for false advertising? I gave you 200 real dollars that I can spend anywhere on anything for something that you lied to me about and gave me an equivalent in your mind of instead of the thing I asked for.
You're not even a real journalism.
To compensate for that, you give me 500 of your monopoly money that I can only spend on your products, so you get it back. So again, it's the equivalent of going, oh, sorry about that, mate. Here's your refund. You can only spend it here and now, though. Oh, all right, then I'll take this. Oh, God, what does 500 atoms get me? It gets you half a mustache. Right, okay, well, I better spend it. There's my half a mustache. Yep, don't put it in the middle. You'll look like Hitler. Put it on one side. And there you go. Boom. The money just goes straight back to them. How this is compensation to these people. Ridiculous. So, it came out today. No, actually, nearly missed the chapter, because just when you thought, right, at this point, people were like, maybe 500 atoms, how much is the difference between nylon and canvas? I don't know. I'm not a fucking medieval merchant riding the Silk Road selling materials. I don't know what's worth more. Like, can I have it in saffron? I don't know. So some people were just like, fuck it, it's better than nothing. I'll take 500 fucking atoms. And other people will go, no, fucking actually, I'll do the class action lawsuit. Maybe I'll get 2,000 atoms, strike it fucking lucky, But here's the thing. They were like, oh, there's totally been a shortage of canvas. Totally, and thanks for the subs that are coming in, Necklord, and that's that dude, and TYO24, but I've got to find it, just before I get into this part. So some people like to say, okay, we'll take the money, and other people were like, I'll take my chances in the, in the court. But then, just when you're like, well, this couldn't be any worse, this couldn't be any more stupid, the official version of there being a canvas shortage completely falls to shit. Do you want to know why it falls to shit? Because,
you're not even a real journalism.
Ding, 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 it turns out Bethesda sent canvas bags to streamers and YouTubers. Come on, you can do it, Forbes. To think that's the only click you're gonna get from a gamer, Forbes, my old buddy, old pal. All right, let's do it on my favorite website then. Here we go. PC Games in, still reeling from the blow my legal team hit them with. Bethesda gave out free canvas Fallout 76 bags at an influencer event. So to all the streamers, all the people that were going to advertise their game, They got canvas bags. Remember how there was a canvas shortage? You know why there was a canvas shortage? Because Bethesda bought all the canvas and made bags and gave it to all the influencers that didn't pay a fucking penny for their game. And then when motherfuckers paid $200 for their game, they went, we're all out of canvas. Don't know where it went, mate. Don't know where it went, mate. All that canvas. Fucking hell. Don't even know what canvas is, me. They legit fucking gave out canvas bags to influencers. There they are. They're even better than the ones in the fucking edition. Look at that. Backpack looks sick. Everyone's there, man. Look at these sick canvas bags. And they got it for free. For fucking free. Oh, lordy lord. So now, it's like, wait a minute. So what you're saying is, Kathy Newman, what you're saying is, there was a canvas shortage, but you made a bunch of canvas bags. They were too expensive to make, but you gave them away for free. I don't know, Bethesda. I think you're telling lies. So now people wanted to really fucking double down and fucking, fuck it. I'm ready. You know what? It might sound petty. It might just be the matter of a bag to you, but to me as a consumer advocate, this is about false advertising. This is about treating your consumers with dignity and respect, doing right by them, just honoring your promises. I mean, everything I've ever written about in games is pretty much about just keep your promises. That's all you got to do. Just keep your promises. Like that NACL article I was going to write. Just keep your promises, guys. I'm still waiting for it. So yeah, look. Now Bethesda are in a fucking bind because there's just nowhere to hide. They've just handled this shit so fucking badly. So guess what happens today? Bethesda, they're gonna back down. And they're sending out the canvas bags. Now you're getting your canvas bags, all right? The canvas that they couldn't get to make these bags. Remember, they didn't make it because there was a shortage. Well, they found the canvas. They found it. The great canvas shortage of 2018 lasted exactly as long as it took Bethesda to get their story straight. Fuck it. There's a lot. Canvas is back on the menu. So they're having to send out the fucking canvas bags now to replace these nylon shiny pieces of shit that they did. And you know what? Luke Plunkett is a bit of a bell end, but I couldn't have put it better myself if I'd had to cover this shit. I can't believe this game is such a mess. I've had to write 2 stories about a plastic bag. Doesn't that sum it up? Fallout 76. Sweet merciful Jesus. Now hang on, there was something I was going to show you. The microtransactions. Oh, lordy lord. Let me just also show you. I've got to find a fucking... I couldn't believe it was real. Because haircuts, things that were in Fallout 4, they're microtransactions now, homie. It is unbelievable. It is like the stuff that is in this game. I gotta find it. There's a tattoo. It's so bad. Please have an image of it. Because it's like, this is like what $5 would have got you. Has no one screenshotted this awful fucking microtransaction? Oh, here, is this it? Okay.
You're not even a real journalism. That's right.
Here's one example, right? So my bad. The tattoos, this one's $2. $2 of real money to do this. to your character. $2 of real money put into their game for an eagle tattoo on your neck. $2, that is. That'll be $2. Thank you very much, sir. Does the game have any content? Nah, we just walk around picking up bottles and that. Is there any interesting quests? Can make monsters come out and shoot them. Okay, right. Did you fix any of those bugs from 2015? Nah. But I can pay $2 for a neck tattoo, can I? Yep. That's in the game at launch. That works. Okay. Far be it from me to suggest that your priorities are all out of fucking whack. I want to see if I can find this, right? Let's see if I find the fucking beehive haircut. Because that costs a pretty penny. And here's what's mad about it, right? Do you remember when NBA, the latest NBA 2K came out? And you had to pay microtransactions for a haircut. And everyone went mental. Because obviously it's ridiculous. It's just character customization. Like, why do I need to pay extra to customize my fucking character? Well, again, people just are not upset about it in this Bethesda game. Again, go watch the Angry Joe video. To paint your power armor blue, it's like fucking $9 or something. It's like, fuck me, dude. Like, even in a working game, that would be egregious. But the fact that you've taken that much care that all of your shop works, your microtransactions work, your virtual currency works, that all works on day one. Does anything else in the game work on day one? Not really. Fucking ghouls, fucking T-posing, running at you. There you go, $18 for blue. 18. It's like, guys, like, this is not real, is it? I found the tattoo I was talking about, by the way. Like, you can't even see this fucking thing, right? Just look at this. Look at the things they've put in the game. A throat stitch tattoo is $2.50. I can't even see it at this resolution. To put gridiron marks under your eyes, $2.50. $2.50. $2.50 in a broken ass game. Fucking hell. Like, this can't be what has happened to fucking Fallout. And this is the thing as well. You know what? You know what I fucking really hate about all of this is that it's right. You've taken a fucking franchise, right? That you know, it's been getting worse, all right. But that's just the nature of the beast. No one's ever gonna make a game. Well, or rather, this is how it works. Okay, this is video games for you. Somebody comes out, gets to enact an artistic vision, take risks. You think about it, you know, like the original Fallout. Nobody wanted to make it. Like, internally, everyone was like, we should cancel this. This is a waste of money. This is a waste of time. People stayed, like Avalon, you know, guys like that, and they fucking fought for it. And even to the point where, if you remember Steve Jackson, not to be confused with Steven Jackson, the other role-playing dude, he had this system called GURPS, right? Which is like generic user role-playing system or something. And he hated that his role-playing intellectual property was being associated with a game that had, like, adult themes. You could kill kids, nuclear waste, all of this. So he pulled it. They'd already developed the game. This is where the special system comes from. They made their own role-playing system in, like, 2 weeks because the guy who made the real role-playing system they used pulled it. So they literally, at that point, could have pulled the plug and it would have been a massive waste of money. We'd never heard about it. But they were so adamant, so they get it. Boom. It comes out, and it's glitchy. I mean, it was really bad at launch, the original Fallout. Everybody knows it, right? It had a ton of bugs. It lacked polish. But there was this core, this great game, and slowly but surely it got better and better and better. There's now an Ultimate Fix version, which funnily enough isn't available on Steam. You can download, fixes a ton of issues with it, makes the game great, makes it even, play on updated resolutions. Really hard to read anything unless you got, these bad boys on. But then, oh, fuck! Who knew that game with an artistic vision and an actual thought behind it, it's people liked it. Better make a sequel. So then you bang out a sequel to it, right? And the sequel, usually you have a bit more time. Usually you have a bit more money thrown at it because of the first commercial success. And generally, in a lot of instances, you'll find the sequel is kind of better. And, this was mirrored Fallout 3 to New Vegas. I mean, it helped that Obsidian came in. But you'll see this often with games. First one comes out. Ooh, you got loads of great ideas there. Let's make a sequel to it. Boom. Then it gets bought by a big studio. Go, fuck, you've really got something here. And then crunch time, you're on the clock, it's got to come out on a set deadline, it's got to be released in Q4 because our shareholders want to know about profit revenue in Q1, and it's just like too many fingers in the gumbo. You now work for a big corporation, you have no autonomy, so the next version of the game that comes out is usually stripped down, watered down, but it sells on the basis of the fan base that you built up over the two games that were created with love and artistry, and again, it was a vision. So it sells, and it generally sells better than the first two put together. Why? Because you've got a big fucking studio now pushing it, using all their media partners and everything else, blanket advertising, great word of mouth, social media. So it sells better than the first two put together, and now you've got a license to make another one, but then they want another one for next year, because now we've got to factor that into our profit spreadsheet. So now you have to make another one. It's like, oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I hadn't planned on making one so quick. Even the first two we made were 3 years apart. So, 2 years, banging one out year upon year, using the same engine. I don't know about that, brother. Well, you ain't got no choice, or we'll just kill the game. Oh, and by the way, you need to put in all these other things now. Well, what do you mean? Microtransactions have got to be in it because our focus group tells us that the Fallout fan base will buy and it's not the same game anymore, and then it makes an abomination, usually 3 games down the road. It's so unrecognizable from where it started. The fan base go, you know what, fuck it, I'm out. Think about movies too. Star Wars. Does anyone care about the next Star Wars movie? Does anyone want to see that? Because I don't. I never thought it could. I'm a fucking old school fucking nerd. I'm an old school nerd. Imagine what it's like as a nerd. I think Moses even said it to me. And that motherfucker dresses up. That motherfucker does cosplay. Goes as fucking R2-D2 to these things, Right? I'm a fucking nerd, right? And how do you get me to dislike Star Wars? How fucking shit do you have to make it? Turns out, this shit. Focus group, corporate, profit-driven garbage. Trotted out for the loudest, group on social media, thinking, oh, well, they're shouting the loudest. Maybe they're our consumers. Oh, wait, no, they're not, and they never were. Oh, God. Oh, it's all right. Let's double down, and we hate them. And actually, it's okay. We'll get this guy who's directed one movie, which was a very wobbly sci-fi movie that had some nice ideas. Right? We'll get him to direct it, and then, we'll bring back the old people, and then we'll just kill them off or give them shit parts. And, guys, you're killing this. You've got a license to print money. You fucked it up. And it's true, man. Go read. I think it's in Aesop fable. Go read the man who killed the goose that laid the golden egg. And the bottom line is, in case you never heard it, because I'm sure you'll have heard the phrase "killed the golden goose." No, that's one of those weird bastardizations. It's like when Americans say, "Oh, I could care less." So you mean couldn't care less, right? No, I could care less. No, you definitely mean you couldn't care less. You're trying to say the thing isn't important. You couldn't care less. Yeah, that's right. I could care less. I'm done. All right. Keep calling it aluminum. We'll just all get along fine, I guess. So it is the fucking he killed the goose that laid the golden egg, right? What happened was this guy on a farm, he gets a goose and it lays a golden egg. And it's, holy shit, all my prayers are answered. Look at this, right? I got the gold. And he distributes gold and he uses it to make improvements on the farm. And then it's like, wait a minute. If that goose can lay golden eggs, I bet it's got a load of golden eggs all up inside it. And I'll just get them now rather than wait for them to come out and hatch. So he takes an axe, hacks open the goose. Eggs don't work like that. And now you got no golden eggs, you dumb motherfucker. That is games development companies. They just can't wait for the fucking profit to come in naturally. They don't care about like making good games anymore and letting that be the what speaks for itself. Year after year, churn out franchised garbage until the franchise tanks, and let's hope somebody out there has made something good, and then we'll go and we'll buy that and we'll repeat the process. Dead Space. What a tragedy, What a fucking tragedy that as we go into Dead Space 3, the worst one in the series, completely fucking altered from the original vision of the game. They get told, if this doesn't sell like 2 million copies, we're just going to kill the thing you built. All right, yep, seems reasonable. The previous 2 games didn't sell that combined. No worries. Oh, and it's the worst game because you made us put a bunch of shit in it nobody wants. It's all right, don't worry. Mass Effect. Mass Effect, everybody. Yeah, you know how the whole selling point of this game is that every little decision, every little conversation, every little alliance or enemy you've made along the way, it's all going to tie in to this big war at the end. 3 endings. Green, blue, and red, or whatever the fuck it was, because everything's got to be color coordinated, because we treat our audience like fucking idiots. The ending was so bad, they had to patch in a different ending. I can't remember that happening in a game before where the writing gets patched. Think about that. And then it's like, well, we'll just relaunch it with Andromeda. It's worse. Andromeda makes Mass Effect 3 look like a motherfucking masterpiece. And like, no, it's a cycle. It just keeps on going. It just keeps on going. It's just a joke. These big game companies are just a joke. Like, and people are gonna stop buying. People are done. People are so bored of it. Just so bored of the cycle. Fallout 76. It's going to be remembered as an important game because I honestly think
that's right.
It is shown that just how little attention, care, content you can put in a game and expect people to pay money for it. Unfortunately, despite there being Bethesda apologists in the games press, despite there being Bethesda apologists in the Bethesda community, it hasn't sold well. In fact, let me just end the Fallout 76 rant by having a look at Fallout 76 sales because let me just find it. So I don't know how accurate this is because it's GameStop and obviously people don't like Bethesda created their own client where people buy the games, but yeah, apparently Black Ops 4 and Fallout 76 didn't sell particularly well in stores. People just didn't. Now maybe that's part of like, it's available digitally, so there's that. But I'm pretty sure the fact that there's already massive discounts being made, and there was in fact, I think they did something recently where if you order it through Amazon, you get 20% off. I want to say, but they definitely did something for like Black Friday where they dropped it down because I saw that, right? So this was the Black Friday thing. It was like you down to $40, right? They are trying all they can to like foist this game on people. The state it's in, the lack of content, you'd be better off just fucking making it free to play at this fucking point. It's garbage. Try and juice people on the comeback. It's absolute hot garbage. Here's the worst part. If I could download Fallout 76 now for free and own it for free, I still wouldn't play it. I wouldn't play it. It just looks terrible. I just wouldn't. I literally, I have no desire anymore. It's like hitting that wall with Fallout 4. I hit the wall with Fallout 76 before I even played Fallout 76. I'm just so tired of the bullshit. It's just insane. Insane, I say. All right, well, that's the Fallout 76 rant.